to Roberts Miniatures. This is hobby update number 2, and it's just going to be a little update on what I've been up to over the last week or so. I haven't got an awful lot done, but some interesting things anyway. So first of all, we've got Crom from the Space Wolf Commander from Stormclaw. This is the first model that I have built from the box set, and as you can see, I'm very high tech spinning it on my little wheel. So there we go, we have got Crom, not the worst model in the world. There's a few of the injection ports, I think that's what you call them, where you know where the pieces of the model are connected to the sprue, were in a little bit awkward places, I thought, and some of them are quite big. The pieces on the wolf's head and where they actually put, I hate injection molded plastic heads because of the mold lines sometimes where they put them and where they put the injection ports. They're on parts of the model that are, you know, stupid, and it's just one of those things that I sometimes rant about. But I thought the wolf's heads on the backpack and the top of the axe and the two bits that were on the side of the head were just probably too big for my preferences and probably required a wee bit more work to get right. And also the detail on this hair, there is none. I think that's probably the only. I know plastic moulding does have its limitations, but I just thought those were the little bits that were poor about this model. But otherwise, I think he'll paint up okay. The detail's good. You know, it's washes and dry brushes and over brushes and all that will probably make this model stand out and will be a good commander for a Space Wolf army. Next thing I'm going to talk about is Statuesque Fantasy Bercy Beardson. Okay, now I ordered these yesterday. It was £11 for both. It was £8, I think 15 for the models, and then some postage. I think it's a gentleman called Andrew Ray who runs Statuesque, and he does a lot of pulp heads. There's resistance fighters, but he's also started a little fantasy line. So far he's released a wizard, an elf, a barbarian and a dwarf, which I have purchased. Now where they are in my lead pile I have no idea. So to continue his fantasy line, he has released a little bit of he seems to be a dwarf berserker. You may be wondering why I actually have two of these. Well, I think this little piece of the video will show. We have got two hand axes for this chap, and we've got one big axe for this guy. And basically this is a little range I quite like. They've all got big noses, and it's going to be something I will want to paint up and have all of this collection, so that's why I've purchased two of them. Okay, what I've done here is it's just we have Bercy Beardson, we have Oathsworn Miniatures, I think it's the King, and we have one of the plastic Mantic Dwarfs, and there you can sort of compare the size of all three together. So a little bit smaller than the Mantic Dwarf, though they are quite big, but will probably fit in with whatever you want. I would assume this will be used more for dungeon crawling and board games or role-playing games rather than mass fantasy battle. Just a few other things that I've purchased. I've purchased this. It's a Tamiya. It's actually I ended up purchasing it off Amazon, and it ended up coming from Japan. It's just a Tamiya. You can put model kits on top. It's just for airbrushing, and this was a set that came with this as well. So you can see I've got two little spinny things with clips. So basically it's just for when I'm airbrushing and painting models, tanks and etc. purchase I've made is this Tamiya craft tools. Now, the exciting thing about this is I'm not going to be able to hold the camera and get this box off, but what you see on is I shoot like crazy. It is actually a kit. So as you can see, the electric drill actually comes as a kit that you have to build yourself. Now, I think this will be quite a little fun thing to do. There's the motor, and there's screws, and lots of little bits and pieces. So, and if by magic, here is the finished article, and that's the little handy drill. It is actually powered by 2 AA batteries, and you push this little button in. With this little button here is sort of like your lock, which I may have to open this up. There you go. So that's it locked, and you can unscrew it and replace your drill bits. Give it a tighten, and as you can see, oh, where is it? Here we go. We have a well drilled hole, and I didn't want to drill into that. Bugger. Here we go. And there's another hole. So, quite a cool tip, or little hobby thing. And you get a nice little sticker that says it's an electric handy drill. So, yeah, that was... Now, the only problem I had building it was I got a part mixed up, and this doesn't seem to be working too well. So I may just have to open it up again, and just because that should... there it is. And that goes in so you can open up your drill. You've got 2 of these little things so you can put all different sizes of drill bit into it. So yeah, that's quite fun. I'm quite happy with that. And last but not least, I have got a new unit for Kings of War. These were very quick to put together. They are the metal wraiths from Mantic. And they were quite simple to paint. Basically, they got a white undercoat. Well, actually, they were given an undercoat of Vallejo white primer, and then they got 2 further coats of game colour dead white, just to make sure that there was a very, very nice white. Then they were given a heavy wash of this, which is Game Ink Violet. Inks are a little bit different from washes in that they saturate the white a bit more. So what I then did was I thought they were a bit too purple. So I mixed a little bit of the ink with the dead white and gave them a quick dry brush. And then they have been given the gloss varnish, a couple of gloss varnishes, and just spaced up. And that, I'll just get a couple. So that is that. And what you can see here is I'm just comparing it with one of the dwarfs from Kings of War that was painted up ages ago, and my standard bearer, which isn't finished yet because I want to put a little bit of ragged green material to sort of look like a banner. So as you can see, well, one thing I would say, seeing it sitting beside my standard bearer, they actually have come out too purple, and I probably would have been better using a wash rather than ink. But I still actually quite like them, and I think it'll make them stand out in the battlefield. And maybe with my next unit of Wraths, because I have some of the Rezic ones, or PVC, or whatever you want to call it, I might actually do them the lighter purple, or a light blue, just to get that ethereal look. But I still actually quite like these. It's another little unit done, so they can march to war whenever I get around to playing a game, which may be sometime. But I think that'll be it for this hobby update. Just a few things that I have done over the last few weeks. Now, just something which I think you might find interesting is this. If I come back, you can see this is a little light box. It's called a Folio, which was on Kickstarter, and it's just basically a little box with that you plug in, and if I take the batteries off, you'll see the difference it makes. So that's one set of the LED lights off, and that's the other. So it's quite strange because on the video camera it doesn't actually make that much of a difference. That's interesting, but when I try to take photographs it does make it a big difference. Anyway, enough of me blathering. I'm off to read some more about cameras, and I will speak to you soon. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.